Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be going over Dave Ramsey's baby steps. So his plan to financial independence and wealth. And this is really because I wanted to take a moment to kind of go over the plan that I'm following. Many of you may be already very familiar with this plan. You may be on it yourself, but for those of you who are brand new to this budgeting game and this debt-free journey, I wanted to take a minute to just kind of go over this and let you know where I'm at in this plan and share my thoughts on this as well. So take what I say with a grain of salt and for what it's worth. Everyone's situation is different, of course. You know your situation more than anyone else. So if there's things on here that don't work for you or anything that I say or how I do things doesn't work for you, then don't feel like you need to do what I say. This is just purely kind of what works for me in my situation. So these are the baby steps. I've listed them out. So baby step 1 is to save a $1,000 emergency fund. So for when life happens, as we all know, inevitably it will happen. So to make sure that you're covered for emergencies. Baby step 2 is to pay off all of your debt except your mortgage if you have one. So that means any student loan debt, credit card debt, personal loans, whatever have you, any debt you have that's not your mortgage, paying that debt off. And although it's not written here, Dave Ramsey really preaches paying your debt off using the debt snowball. So for those of you who don't know what the debt snowball is, essentially you list all of your debts from smallest to biggest, and then you start to attack the smallest debt, meaning you start to pay off that debt. And when you're done with that debt, you go on to the next debt. While you're doing the debt snowball, you're still making minimum payments on all the debts you have listed, but you're putting any extra money that you have towards your smallest debt and then working down the list. So once you pay off that smallest debt, you would roll over that, hopefully that minimum payment into the next smallest debt. So you'd be making even more payments towards that debt till that's eliminated, and so on and so forth. So then the third baby step is to save 3 to 6 months worth of expenses, because let's face it, if we go back to baby step 1, a $1,000 emergency fund is really not a ton of money. So in baby step 3, he has you kind of bulk that up to 3 to 6 months of savings or expenses worth of money. So bolstering up that emergency fund basically is number 3. So once you have that all set and you've saved 3 to 6 months worth of expenses, you're going to go on to number 4, which is invest 15% of your income in retirement, because there's a whole lot to be done there. Anyways, I'll save my thoughts for later. Baby step number 5 is to save for your kids' college. So to start a college fund for your children, if you have children, that is baby step number 5, which is pretty self-explanatory. Baby step number 6 is to pay off your home early. So pay off your mortgage early, basically. And then baby step 7 is to build wealth and give. Dave Ramsey is very much preaches like giving back to the community, giving back to others who maybe are less fortunate to you now that you've kind of built this wealth. He's really preaches kind of giving back. So, which I think is great. So now that I've kind of gone through the baby steps briefly with you, for most of you, it probably won't be a surprise if you've seen my other videos, but I am on baby step 2. So I have successfully saved a $1,000 emergency fund, which is great. And I am now on baby step 2, which means I am starting to pay off all of my debt except my mortgage. Now, the method that I'm using to pay it off isn't exactly the debt snowball, and I will get into that a little bit more in future videos, but know that I am on baby step 2 indeed. I think probably my biggest issue with this is 2 and 3. I totally get why it would make sense for you to pay off your debt and then save 3 to 6 months worth of expenses, but I personally get very nervous about only having $1,000 for an emergency fund. I went through a time where I was unemployed for an extended amount of time. And had it not been for my savings, which was more, definitely was more than $1,000 in the emergency fund, I don't know what I would have done. Like, I legitimately have no idea what I would have done. And that was pretty unexpected, that period of time, as many times when life happens it is. And I know many of you have probably heard the saying, when it rains it pours. Sometimes something happens and then it seems like things keep happening all at once. And I feel like if you happen to encounter any moment like that and you only have $1,000 for your emergency fund, especially if the debt you're going to pay off is large, so if you're going to be paying off debt for 2-3 years, and Dave Ramsey does say, like, put yourself on a very tight budget, attack your debt so you can get it out of your life as soon as possible. But realistically, for those of us who have large amounts of debt, that could take some time. And anything can happen in a minute, let alone a year, 2 years, 3 years while you're paying off debt. So I struggle, basically. Basically, all I'm saying is I struggle a lot with kind of the order of 2 and 3. But I also understand kind of the fact that if you just spend all of your time saving, you're never going to get out of debt. So I do get that too. But I wonder if, and this is again just me sharing my own personal opinion, if you kind of attacked bolstering up your savings to 3 to 6 months the same way you would attack a debt in a debt snowball, how long would it take you to save up this amount? If that makes sense. If you were very intentional about it, how long would it take you to really save this amount and then be able to, I think, at least for me, with more peace of mind, start to attack my debt and then stop savings and just kind of go and attack debt. So those are my 2 cents on that. Like I said, it's my own opinion. I know not everyone agrees. Dave Ramsey enthusiasts, please don't come for me in the comments. These are just my thoughts and my struggles with it. But I'm still trying to follow the plan, and I am on baby step 2 for those of you who are wondering. So I thought it was worth kind of mentioning what happened and how I got here. I discovered Dave Ramsey probably about maybe September, November, maybe even August of last year, and I started binging his show. So I should probably go into too, for those of you who don't know who he is, you can literally type him right here on YouTube, like type him into the search box and you'll get like thousands of hits on videos. So he is a financial guru and a radio show host. So typically during his radio show, those are the videos you can find on YouTube. He will give advice, financial advice, to callers that call him. And many times his solutions to those issues will be kind of outlining the baby steps for people. So that's essentially who he is. But I thought it was important for me to just kind of go in and talk to you guys about the plan I'm following and where I'm at with that plan. Some of the other things that you will hear in Dave Ramsey's videos, or if you've listened to his podcast or read any of his books, some of the other terms you might hear me use are sinking funds. So that is when you save for an expected cost. So it's kind of like a mini savings for an expected cost. So I always use the example of, I pay my car insurance premium every 6 months, but I still put a little bit of money away each month so that when my premium comes due, I have the money ready and I don't have to budget for such a large amount. So I can just kind of have that ready and it doesn't really affect my budget per se, because I've been putting away for it throughout the month. So that's the example I use with sinking funds. When you're first starting out, it might be that you don't have sinking funds, and that's totally fine. Like if your budget is tight the way it is and you don't have space for it, that is A-okay. The goal here is to pay off your debt and hopefully kind of go through all these steps to become financially independent. So again, if that's not in your budget right now, that's fine. As you start to pay off debt, maybe it will be something that you decide to include in your budget, or maybe it's just not something that's for you. There are people that just kind of budget those amounts into their paychecks and kind of keep it moving. So that's fine too. You've probably already seen my cash envelopes. I'll show you an example of one right here. This is a new one that I haven't even marked yet. But essentially what I do is use cash for certain expenses, and then I will label the envelope with the category that the amount of cash in here would be dedicated to. So if it was groceries, for example, I'd put in whatever amount I want to use for groceries for whatever budgeted kind of time period, and then stick that in there. And this is what I would carry with me when I go get groceries, for example. So that's another thing you will hear me mention. And I went through kind of debt snowball already. So this was really just kind of me checking in with you guys and showing you the plan that I'm following. Let me know if you are on a debt-free journey, if you're using Dave Ramsey's baby steps. Which step are you on? Have you paid off your debt? Are you paying off your debt? Are you saving your emergency fund? So let me know down below in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And I promise, because I know I haven't yet shared what my debt numbers are, but I am going to be doing that soon, so keep an eye out for that video. But as always, don't forget to like this video and comment down below with if you're using Dave Ramsey's baby steps. Are you on baby step 2? Are you still saving $1,000 emergency fund? Are you kind of brand new to this whole world of budgeting and becoming debt free? Let me know down below in the comments, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Love y'all. Bye.